Hey friends, today we are going to talk about some of my very, very favorite genre of book, and those are called tall tales. So last week we talked about fairy tales. All of these types of stories that we're going to be talking about are in one genre called folklore. So last week we had fairy tales, this week we have tall tales. So I want to tell you guys a little bit about what makes a tall tale a tall tale. And that is that it is a story that has a character that is crazy, crazy cool. And so these characters face problems and they solve these problems in extremely amazing ways, things that are not really quite realistic. So some things that make a tall tale character are that they have a superhuman characteristic. So they may have like superhuman strength, or they never tell a lie, or they do things that is not typical for a regular human. So another thing is that the characters are going to use everyday language. So they're going to sound just like me or you, or just like the time frame that they would be in. So something else is that these characters have problems. They're all going to face a problem, but they're not going to solve them like you or I would. They're going to solve them in some kind of humorous way, so some kind of funny way. And this is my favorite part about a tall tale, and that is that all of the details, or a lot of the details, are going to be exaggerated. So that means that they're going to take something like, for instance, I made a huge cake, and they're going to make it way bigger than it really was, such as, I made the largest cake in the whole wide world, and I got a record for making the largest cake, and it was the same size as my whole entire house. So you can tell how that was very exaggerated. That is not even true. So that's what an exaggerated detail might be from a tall tale. So while these stories are so fun, we have to remember that there are some important details and some important things in these stories that we have to take note of. Here are a couple of those things. We have to remember that these stories have characters. So we need to make sure that we're figuring out who are the main characters in our story and why are they the main characters. We also have to look at the setting. Where is this taking place? A lot of times a tall tale takes place in some kind of historical time. Okay, so take a look and make sure that you're paying attention to what time or when those stories are taking place. And then the plot. So we need to make sure we're remembering that there's going to be a problem and a solution. So there's going to be something that character faces that they have to fix in some way. Okay, so those are those things that we need to make sure that we're paying attention to our tall tale stories. We are going to do something super fun. Tall tales, like I said, are my favorite because I think it's so much fun to take a small little story and exaggerate it and make it super cool. So we're going to look at some exaggerations together. Let's see. We're going to look at this activity, some exaggerations together. And I know this is tiny on my screen. Hopefully it's a little bit bigger on yours. We're going to do one or two of these together, and then you're going to do the rest of them because I want to see your exaggerations. And so let's look at the directions. The directions say, tall tales include exaggerations which stretch the truth. Practice writing exaggerations by completing the sentences below. All right, so I have text boxes in each of these for you, so you shouldn't have to create text boxes. You may have to move your text box up or down so that you can see it, or press that space bar to scoot your typing over so that it matches where it belongs. So just do your best, and if it's not in the perfect spot, that's okay. We'll work on it. I'm going to do this one with you guys because it's so fun. Number 5 says, one day it was so hot that, okay, so I'm going to press my space bar over here to the center, and I'm going to move this up. Okay, so one day it was so hot that, let's see what could be an exaggeration. I know. I cooked my whole breakfast on the hood of my car. Oh my gosh, that would be so funny. We can't really do that. So that makes that a huge exaggeration. I want to show you something really quickly. Do you see right here on that word breakfast where it's a little red squiggly line underneath? That means that I spelt that word wrong. Something super cool that you can do when you spell a word wrong is click that right button, and then it'll spell it correctly for you. So make sure that you do that in all your things. So I want you guys to go through and finish these exaggerations and turn them into me. Have a great afternoon.